Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, Doctor Who. We have a little bit of news that Jodie Whittaker is doing another season. Um, there's a lot of concern about the ratings. There was some talk, which I actually repeated, that was a little bit inaccurate. The ratings had dropped very low, but they haven't actually dropped below the last Doctor before her. They got down to two point something million. She's only gotten down to about just on four, and there was talk that the ratings had dropped as the lowest that they had since the 1980s, and that actually wasn't accurate. They're fairly close, but the ratings actually dropped lower the season before she came on, down to 2 or 3 million. So it's the lowest they've been in 3 years, not 30. But they're still kind of circling around the drain, sort of around the same sort of ballpark. But if they keep going down, they're going to get there pretty quick. So it's a pretty big concern, and the surprise is that they're not kind of trying to reinvigorate the show or reboot it or something. Like, why they wouldn't just get another actress, get another actor, and get another producer and just try something different, because this is not working. What they're doing is not working. People are leaving in droves. People are complaining. All the haters are just finding so much ammunition. They're not really having to try very hard. It's kind of sad because I only have a small knowledge of Doctor Who. I saw the show. I was a kid. I saw repeats from the 70s Dr. Baker, Tom Baker, Doctor Who. I saw some of those and thought that was the 80s one that was being repeated in the 90s, but it was actually in the 70s one. But I saw a bit of that, and I sort of wasn't hugely impressed. I was kind of a bit stuck up. I was really just looking at effects and production and sort of looking at current shows and looking at this 70s show and thinking, this is so cheap. Oh God, I'm not watching this. I didn't really pay any attention to the stories, so I didn't really give it much of a chance. And then when it got rebooted, I did watch the first season and I really liked it. And I planned to watch the second season, but I missed a couple of episodes and I thought, I'm just going to buy it on DVD. And I just never got around to it. I just recently got, do I have all 10? I think I have the first 10 seasons. I think I was missing one season I had to get, which I got the other week. So now I can actually watch them. I want to watch them in order on DVD. That was sort of the plan. And just sort of watch random ones from the older shows. So I don't have a huge encyclopedic knowledge of Doctor Who, but I was very aware of how much people loved it. I had a lot of friends who did watch it and talked about it a lot. And I've been a member of Star Trek fan clubs, and you sort of become aware of these sort of adjacent, like Star Wars and Doctor Who clubs and those people. And I was very much aware of the people who were really unhappy when the show was out of production, and kind of felt bad because I had Star Trek and they didn't have Doctor Who, and then it sort of reversed, and our Star Trek got cancelled and Doctor Who was being produced and doing really well, and I was sort of a little jealous of the Doctor Who fans who were sort of getting their fix and everything, and now we've got Star Trek back. Star Trek sucks. Doctor Who has started to suck. From what I hear, they've changed a lot of elements to the show, and it's very preachy. It's very dry. It's very drama. It's very there's no fun anymore. It's too serious. There's no monsters. There's that sort of magic of Doctor Who that made it fun. That sort of got it past the bad effects and the cheap sort of. That is sort of gone now. I'm trusting the judgment of other fans because I don't really have a history of the show, and it's not good. But yes, we are definitely. All it comes down to is we're getting another year with the same Doctor and apparently the same producer or whoever, Chib Noel, whatever his name is, because they supposedly were sticking together, and she was going to stay as long as he was there, and he was going to stay as long as she was there. That was sort of what they were talking about last year. That they were going to come back for a second year and only do a second year, and they weren't going to do a third year because they weren't going to do it without each other. But apparently they're coming back. Well, she's coming back, so I'm assuming he's coming back. And I really am surprised that they're not trying to reboot it and trying to do something different. Maybe they're stuck with contracts. Maybe they're not sure what to do. But I really think they need a change because, I mean, you can blame racists and sexists and people who just hate the show because it's a woman, and that, for the most part, that is ridiculous. Some people are that small-minded, but most people aren't. And that's the thing. You can't blame this level of ratings drop and this level of unpopular that they've got currently attached to the show on a minority of, a vocal minority of fans. It's the general fan base. It's the general public who have just lost interest or don't like something about the show, or it's not bringing them in. It's if it was just a small minority of misogynists who just couldn't handle having a woman on the show, even though there's always been women on the show, and so forth and so on, they wouldn't account for this level of problems with the ratings. So I really think they should try something new, but it's going to be at least another year before they do that. So we'll see what happens. But I find it really curious that they're not sort of using. I thought they would scapegoat her so quick and be like, "Oh, that didn't work. Let's do something different." Instead, they're sort of doubling down and saying, "No, this is what we're doing." And it is interesting that both Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall have both said they don't listen to reviews, they don't listen to critiques, they don't listen to fans, they don't listen to anybody. They're just doing their own thing. They're in their creative bubble, and they think that's the best way to create. And maybe it is creatively, but when you're making a show for other people, for a fan base, for an established franchise, you kind of need to listen to what the fans are saying and how it's being received. Otherwise, you're not going to learn. You're not going to change anything. You're going to keep going in your bubble, and there's going to be a purity and a clarity of your work. But it really doesn't matter if it's not connecting with people. So yeah, they might want to listen to a few videos like this, even for people who don't know a lot about the show. But I don't think they're going to listen to anybody. Not the big fans, not the little fans, not the networks, nobody. They are just doubling down and barreling through, and we might just have to wait until they're gone for things to change. They may change for the worse, they may change for the better, but they need to change.